All right.
All right.
Katelyn.
Oh my God. Oh.
Caitlin, aka Stay Witchy. Welcome to Home with Friends.
Thank you. I'm excited.
I'm so excited. I know. A little nerve-wracking. You have your matcha. We're good.
Let me grab it. Yeah.
Random question I was going to ask before we even started, unrelated.
Oh.
Do you watch Love Island?
No.
Me neither.
Oh.
I kind of hate this. Is like how we make dumb people famous. Do you know what I mean?
Totally.
I think I'm like triggered by the show. I think I'm just triggered by reality shows in general.
Totally.
Why don't you watch it?
Because I feel triggered by it. And I feel triggered by it. I feel sad for them because we're just like, here's some alcohol, dance, monkey dance. Like,
Yeah.
See how fucked up you can get and how fucked up this is. And it's just like people, it's just all shadow. And so it can just be, and plus reality isn't what it used to be like. Jersey Shore.
Jersey Shore? That's a real OG reality. And I watched that religiously because that was so authentic.
Literally. And now people are so hot, so triggering, and what happened to being ugly and just funny?
I know. Ugly and funny. That's literally what we want. No, I agree. And I just don't like that we're praising horrible behavior. We like these people that are treating other people horribly.
And then rooting for them.
Yes. Hate it. Okay, I'm glad we're on the same page. I kind of knew you would be.
I do love 90 Day Fiancé though.
Why?
I just love 90 Day Fiancé. I think it because it has that reality rawness to it because these are just regular schmegular people who fell in love with somebody overseas and now it's the quest to get them.
Is that what every episode is? Someone overseas?
Essentially, yeah. Wow. And it's people they've never met but have these really intense love connections with, and then they have 90 days to get married and they've spent no time together. It really is gold.
Yikes. That is gold. Okay, maybe I'll watch that. I'll give that a chance. I'm not a reality TV girly. Okay, so for the listener or the people watching, this is not going to be about real estate or money. This is a very special episode. I'm very excited about this episode.
Me too.
You, in your own words, are a spiritual advisor to the living.
Ooh.
A friend to the deceased.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Yes.
I love that.
But for the common person, a psychic, a medium, I want you to tell me what you like to call yourself or what you consider yourself.
Oh, I don't consider myself, right? The psychic medium is the easiest way to understand what I do for work, but my work extends far beyond just psychic mediumship. I like to just call myself a spiritualist because my goal is to help you bridge your relationship to spirit. Okay.
Would you consider yourself a vessel?
Oh, totally. A channel. Yes, absolutely. Okay. I allow spirit to work through me. Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I love when you do yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That's a double yes.
And the first time I actually went back in my journal, the first time I ever had a session with you was June 2021.
Oh my gosh.
I know. So it's been a while. And I feel like we've probably had 10, 15 sessions.
Oh my gosh.
Since then.
Also, you journal?
Yeah.
Hot girls journal.
Yeah, hot girls do journal.
Hot girls journal.
Okay, so I am just so interested about your life. I have so many questions for you. So bring me back to childhood.
Ooh, okay.
When did you know you had this, I'm going to call it a gift?
Sure. In childhood, I didn't. I wasn't born into a family of people that were spiritually awoken. Definitely a lot of witchcraft in our Italian culture.
You're Italian too?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm. So a lot of just Italian women are just very naturally witchy, especially being Catholic, that is very witchy too. I wouldn't sleep in the dark as a child. I was so afraid of the dark, couldn't sleep with the lights out, and that was because when the lights are off, I was perceiving energetically, just very afraid. Everyone was like, oh, she's nervous. Oh, she's sensitive. Oh, we don't know what's wrong with her. I had my first psychic vision when I was 15, and it was so telling of the times because it was 2005 in the tanning bed because we were all tanning.
Yeah. Did you have a sticker?
Probably.
The Playboy bunny. We were literally 15 with Playboy bunny tan lines.
I did the peace sign.
Yeah, and the heart. I remember them. What a time.
So, and that's because I was just laying in silence and poop, my boyfriend cheating on me.
Okay, the boyfriend you were dating at that time. Mm-hmm. Did you see him with another girl?
Yes. The girl that he was like, no, I don't know her. No,
Would you
we're
see
just
them?
friends.
Did you see them making out? Did you see them having sex?
I just saw them like I saw them close, and it felt intimate.
Okay.
And then, you know, whatever. I didn't even think anything of it. I was just like, you know, when like psychic visions like that hit you, you just know it to be like so true within your body. You don't question it. So I was like, wow, piece of shit. And that was it. College, it's when it starts to happen a little bit more. And it was more so a running joke with my friends where I would say something was about to happen, and they'd be like, oh yeah, well, you know, Kate's psychic, so we gotta believe her. It was just like a joke, and then it turned out to be true.
Okay.
It wasn't until now we're talking like 8 years ago, where I went through a pretty, I don't want to say severe, but it was a pretty severe spiritual awakening where I just started to hear voices. I would start astral projecting in my dreams. It would feel like I was being pushed deeper into my mattress and being held down. Very terrifying, yes.
Wait, what did you say? Astral what?
Projecting.
What does that mean?
Going to different places. I was going to the spiritual realm while I was sleeping. But I started to hear voices that were very much so outside of me, and now I like journal too, so I look back at those journals where I just like hot girl's journal where I'm just like speaking of fear and be like, I'm so afraid to go to sleep at night, I don't know what's happening. And I was in such a place of just ignoring it. Even the voices, they were calling my name. They come to find out they were angels that were calling my name. Angels have their own language. It's called light language. Okay. And I just remember one night because I was hearing two voices, a masculine voice and a feminine voice, and ignoring both of them at all times. And then I heard the masculine voice speak light language that I didn't know what that was at the time. And that's when I like tuned in. I was like, wait, what? And then I heard the voice, oh, so you can hear us. And then that's where it just...
Oh, wow, I just got chills.
Yeah.
So when you first were hearing the voices, was it saying your name?
Yeah. They were just saying my name. They were trying to get my attention. I was also at the same time having dreams of people I knew were dead. And I was already able to control those dreams. So very quickly I was... I know you're here to tell me a message. What's the message? In addition to also at this time in my life, for whatever reason, and now it's like funny to think about it, I was just like, I want to be a medium.
Okay.
Like I just started saying, I was like, I want to be a medium. I want to learn how to do this. I know that I can help people by doing this. So
you think once you like opened yourself up to that, or basically put that out there, that's when spirit came in? Or was spirit trying to like come in since you were a child?
Spirit's been in. Spirit's been in.
Yeah, you're gonna have to correct me as we go, because I don't even know how to speak about this or anything. So yeah,
spirit's been in. It's just, it was meant to happen at that time. I just started to like really lean into it, and it was because I was doing human work and trying to live a very human life, and it just was not for me. And I really think spirit, you know, they were like, we have to save her.
Okay. Yeah, when you say human work, you mean like a 9-to-5.
Mm-hmm.
That's what. Yeah, I think that's funny when you say human work.
It's very human.
Yeah. Are you consider yourself a human?
Totally.
Okay.
Totally. I think there's this misconception that the more spiritual awareness you have, the easier your human life is, and it's opposite. The more you know, the harder it is to navigate. So I know it's not a competition of who's most human, but I think my human's very fucking human because I have so much spiritual awareness.
Yes. Okay. Fair enough. So you already said no one in your family specifically had this experience. How was it when you started to tell your family or friends? Mm-hmm. Were you met with resistance? Did you lose relationships over it? Mm-hmm. Were they embracing you?
So psychic, spiritualists, mediums, all of us, we have a coming out similar to queer people. It's called coming out of the broom closet. So when I came out of the broom closet, I had a very beautiful experience. I was met with nothing but love, support. My family, my friends, all were in support. I'm very, very fortunate.
Wow.
Not everyone has that experience.
No, of course. Mm-mm. Did you sit people down and tell them? Like, how did you come out and tell them?
I think I changed my Instagram for what it was before my name, just to stay witchy, and I don't think I did. I just started to do it.
Wow, like post about it?
For my friends, yeah. For my family, they already knew because I was like, I want to be a medium. And it was actually my mom who at that time, you know, I'm very fortunate because my mother is very supportive of all things that I've done. And I was like, oh, I want to be a medium. And she's like, well, there's this medium giving a talk in Mooresville, which is where I grew up, where she was at the time. And she was like, we should just go hear what he has to say. And it was Ed. That's how I met my mentor.
Oh my God, I didn't know that. Yeah. So your mom is what led you to Ed.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. And so we did the talk. You know, it was like a talk shop, like Ed just talking about being a medium, how to perceive. And then, you know, you have to, like, it's so important for me to say, like, at this time, I felt I've always felt different. I've always had a hard time fitting in, always have a hard time finding a sense of belonging, because I felt like I've had to, like, pretend being human, because it just is so unnatural to me, especially at this times, because now I'm also, like, have, like, really pretended to be a human, and then I have this whole other thing going on in my life that I had nobody to talk to, nobody to make sense of. You know, I thought I was, like, literally losing my fucking mind.
How old were you? 20s?
I was 26.
Okay.
And so after the talk shop, Ed came up to me, and I was like, it's such a profound moment in my life. He was just like, you know, you're different. And I tell people, like, that was the first time in my life that I finally did not feel different.
Oh my God.
I know. So we exchanged information, and he called me, and we just started mentoring.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's so beautiful.
Thank you.
No, I love that. I did not know that's how you met him. Okay. So you told me a story once, and I want you to tell it because it was so interesting to me. Maybe when you first started hearing the voices, wasn't this right after a breakup? Mm-hmm. Like a traumatic breakup?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so...
Traumatic is an understatement.
Okay, yeah. So, like, walk us through that. And, like, do you think that trauma is what really, like... I guess, okay, let me rephrase the question. From what I took from the story when you originally told me was, like, it was almost like a make or break. Like, you needed something because you were feeling so lost. And then, like, that's when you started hearing the voices?
I think that was just a part of the entire puzzle that was going on, because I was so miserable at work. I just started a yoga teacher training, so I first started, like, really understanding spiritualness in that way, being introduced to the chakras. Mm-hmm. Being introduced to a intuitive reader through that program. I had just started meditating with a monk. Like, I had so many things going on, and that was just the catalyst to destruction for me. And I know it sounds so dramatic, but I like to reference tarot cards. Mm-hmm. So this was my tower moment. Like, when everything you've ever known to be real, everything you thought was stable is not fucking stable. I had found out that he was cheating on me. And to the point, not just, like, being cheated on, but my guy had, like, a whole nother, like, life name, like, whole nother identity, like, cheating on me to that degree. So it was just, like, and, like, people are like, oh, well, did you know? Not at all.
Okay.
So. Not at all. Like, this was when iPhones had the little, like, circle at home, like, button, and, like, my thumbprint could open his phone, because we were, like, at that time partying a lot. And so very open, very, like, whole nother everything. So it was really destructive just for my sense of stability, reality, and my whole, like, to say this was a rebirth.
It's like an understatement.
It's an understatement.
Wow.
There's this movie, The Love Witch, which I highly, highly, highly recommend watching. Very indie, very weird. And she has a quote that says, the day he left me was the day I died, and then I was reborn a witch. And that's just so perfect for where I was at that time. Wow. And at the same time, like, I felt so low. I felt so lost. I felt so, like, just, yeah. And I remember, like, you know... Nobody starts talking to God when they're in a good place, you know? So now I'm, like, praying. I'm like, God, why? Right. And so I'm like, please just use me what I'm here for, because I don't think I can be here anymore. And that's when it all started happening.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
See, well, do you believe everything happens for a reason? Some people
yes and no.
Some people don't.
I don't. I I can absolutely honor that everything plays a part in our bigger picture. But I think that when we say, oh, everything happens for a reason, what we're actually seeing is a person's ability to alchemize shitty situations. Mm-hmm. So, and not everyone is willing to alchemize a shitty situation. So, yeah.
I agree with that.
So when people are like, see, everything happens for a reason, what they're not saying is like, wow, you took shit and turned it into gold. Good for you.
Right. Mm-hmm. Well, you took shit and you turned it into gold.
I sure
good
did.
For you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I sure did.
Okay, so I guess we can kind of dive into the relationships now, because at that time you said that obviously that was like a catalyst. Now that you're fully in this, mm-hmm. how are you able to date somebody? Are you, like how is dating?
I hate dating, love being in love.
Okay.
I don't know if like my dating is really, I think what I'm trying to say is I have very heavy Scorpio placements in my astrology chart. So I do absolutely see love as a religion. Like I wanted to be so deeply in love with somebody, just honor it as the way, we see God, as the way we see salvation. But I hate fucking dating. Mm-hmm. I'm really bad at it, actually. It's hard for me to fake emotion. I don't know how, like, I need to feel like, okay, this is something for me to give anything.
But I hear that. But what about when you start to fall for somebody? How are you not always, like, trying to predict, are they going to hurt you? Are they going to cheat on you?
Okay, I got you. Yeah, so a reader can't read for themselves. So, and the closer I get to somebody, the harder I can discern objectively. So I'm just along for the ride. What I'm looking for as a spiritualist romantically is their shadow and how quickly their shadow starts coming up. Okay.
Explain that more to me, because when you first meet someone, you don't know them yet. You meet a perfect stranger. Mm-hmm. Now you can fully read them. Mm-hmm. Now what if you start to fall for them and you go back to like the original stuff you were reading? I don't know.
So if I'm meant to be with somebody, mm-hmm. Even when I'm like, hi, I'm Katelyn, and they're whoever, mm-hmm. I can't read them. And that's usually indicative to me that I'm supposed to have some sort of learning moment with them or some sort of relationship. If I can read them, I know that we're probably not meant to be connected.
What?
Yeah, crazy, huh?
Is that how it is with friendships? Does that mean you can't be friends with me because you can read me? No, really, in connections in general. Or is that more romantic?
I think it's more romantic because love has been my greatest teacher, and spirit will use love to teach me my lessons.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And how do you know right away that you can't read someone? Do you try and then some blockage happens?
Yes, but I don't think I try. I really allow myself to have my human experience, like truly, 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 because it makes me a better spiritualist. It makes me a better practitioner because I'm having living experiences. And I think because of, my age and my client base, like I'm working with women, dating, finding love, trying to get married. So it just makes me better at helping them.
Yeah.
And it's important for me to allow myself to have the human experience. Spirit wants me to have a human experience.
I mean, I can say you're extremely relatable, which is the most bizarre thing in the world, because you're probably someone you're so relatable and so unrelatable at the same time.
I love that.
I
love that.
Yeah. I feel like that's a very good way to explain that, my perception of you. Wait, I was just going to ask something. We were talking about guys dating.
Not being able to read them, but looking for shadow, which looking for shadow is a read.
Okay, so technically, when you say like you don't really try, are you turning this on and off?
Yeah, so I turn it off. I'm not on unless I'm at work.
Okay, so like right now you're not on.
Correct.
Okay, so walk us through.
Now I can turn on.
Okay, so walk us through how you turn on it. Do you meditate? What's your routine?
So my life, everything I do, like to say that I am a spiritualist, it is literally my lifestyle. Everything I do outside of the office is so I can channel within the office. So the way I eat, what I consume, what I don't consume, how I take care of myself, how I, practice my own inner understanding. It's so I can be a better channel. But when I get to work, I'm just like, showtime.
What do you mean showtime? Do you just walk in and say, okay,
hell yeah, showtime?
Literally, that's it?
Yeah, I don't look to see who's coming to see me until that day of. So I just get there, do my little setup, see who's coming to see me for the day, and I start running appointments.
Okay, and then what I always thought was interesting, like our first session was on the phone, and I always just assumed you had to be in close proximity with a person to read them.
I love that.
Why is that not a thing? I can say a name and you can tap into them.
Correct, because it's energy, and so energy doesn't only exist in our physical. Energy exists everywhere. So I use the example. Think of somebody you love, like you love your dad, okay? Your dad doesn't have to be in front of you for you to feel the love you have for him.
Right.
Because it's an energetic feeling. So I just tap into that energetic feeling of somebody.
But like if I'm sitting here and I say, okay, I want to check in on my dad and see how he's doing. You'll say, okay, say your dad's name.
I know.
I'll say Steve. You'll go, Steve, and then you tap in. It's like, how does the name help you? Because there's a billion Steves in the world.
It's just so by asking for a name, I'm just streamlining my process because I am like working and we have a limited amount of time. I don't necessarily need the name. It just gives me something to really like focus on quickly. It's how some mediums use pictures. Like you're just helping them focus very quickly on that energy of the person.
Okay.
But I'm reading his energy through you.
And then we've talked about this before too, but if you are able to read my dad, we'll keep using him as an example, that's his higher self
giving me permission to channel
and giving consent.
Look at you. You know more than you.
Because are there times when you're like, I can't read your dad?
Yes.
And why is that happening? Most of the time.
Most of the time, it's for whatever reason we've gone too far. Spirit feels like this will not serve.
Okay.
Because keep in mind, people are like, I'm not source energy. I am just a channel of source energy. We say that the radio doesn't, that's not the radio song. The radio is just playing the song. I am just the radio. The radio doesn't take credit for the song. I can only do what Spirit allows me to do in that moment with somebody.
Okay. Now, if you do feel really dark energy or something tragic is going to happen, do you feel obligated to tell a person?
Yeah. So if I have to tell something to someone, first of all, I say everything that comes in. Like, that's why you're there. Everything that comes in, I share. Especially if it comes up multiple times, because I think what people don't realize is I'm doing a lot. Like I'm holding a conversation with you. Yeah. I'm talking to you. I'm also talking to Spirit at the same time. I'm holding two conversations at once. And Spirit doesn't speak the way that we speak. So I'm getting symbolism. I'm getting pings. I'm getting hits. I'm getting, at the same time, I'm trying to make sense of what Spirit is saying to me so I can help you make sense of what's being said. So if something comes into me multiple times, I share it. There are some times where Spirit wants you to know something, and if I don't share it, I can't feel anything else. I have to share it so it'll move out, so I can start, wow. I can continue the conversation.
What if someone comes in and they say, I don't want to hear anything bad?
Okay, I love that because that does happen. I have, I'm very good at my craft, and I have a way of saying things, even bad things, to give you a sense of hope.
So you still will get the message across in the best way that you know how.
Correct.
Because people, I think a lot of fear, I want to hear your opinion on why you think people are fearful, but the fear of coming and having a session with you is because they think they're going to hear that they're going to die tomorrow or their loved one's going to die in a week. Like they think something so traumatic is going to come out of this experience. So how can you reassure those people?
I don't do death work. Very rarely. Somebody has to be like terminally ill or starting the transition process for me to start feeling death for them.
So that's different.
That's different. So I'm not going to be like, oh, you're going to die tomorrow. Like that's
I didn't realize like death work was different. I just thought it was all part of So what, okay, if that's death work, what do you consider what you do?
So I do death work as a medium. So I am a psychic because I am a medium. Every medium is a psychic. Not every psychic is a medium. Okay.
Okay, I'm following.
Okay. Medium is perception in the higher worlds. If anything in the spiritual world, past loved ones, spirit guide, I just use spirit as an umbrella term. Like if it's not coming of this world, it's coming from the spirit world. So I just say spirit. Psychic is perception in our physical world.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So if you can perceive in a higher world, you can perceive in our lower world. If you can only perceive lower energy, you can't perceive higher.
Okay. I want to go to your symbolisms that you were talking about, like when you get these pings or these hits or these symbols.
Okay.
Do you have a certain symbol that Spirit's always showing you that means something? So like, I'm going to say something random.
Yeah.
Let's say they show you a red circle. Does that always mean something for anybody, depending?
Usually, yeah. And that's language that I've worked out with Spirit. They know what to, because again, I'm working. I have an hour. They know this. So they have things. It's feelings though. If I get hit at the top of my stomach and the heart at the same time, and then I feel a numbing on the right side of my head, I know they just went through a breakup.
Oh, and you get that every time?
Every time. If I get pressure on the back of my head, I know that they're lost. Mm-hmm.
What are other ones? Tell me more.
Let me think. I use feelings. So once I get the initial pings, I'm in your energy, and now I'm just feeling what you're feeling. So your feelings tell me a story. Once I hit, do you know the clairs?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
What are the clairs?
Clairvoyancy is the most popular girl, okay? So that is the most popular clair. A lot of people know clairvoyancy.
Yes.
There's 6 of them. We have clairvoyancy, we have clairsentience, we have clairaudience. We have 3 more now. I know them all. So clairvoyancy, clairaudience, clairsentience, and then we do clairgustance, clairalience, and I am missing one. But there are 6 of them. And so I bounce between clairs. I first use clairsentience. It's how Ed trained me. Ed is a clairsentient reader, so by mentorship, I also learned how to read clairsentience.
Okay.
If I'm working with somebody who's emotionally closed off and I can't feel, I'm into my clairvoyancy. Oh, claircognance is the one that I missed.
Okay, good.
I'm then into my claircognance. I'm there, and I'm then listening. So I'm bouncing between clairs. I'm going to figure. Now, clairs are just a way of perception.
So the one that you're usually in is the feeling one.
I go straight for the clairsentience because I do well in clairsentience.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. If I can't feel, then I'm looking. If I can't see anything through my third eye, then I'm tapping into the clairaudience. I'm then listening. I'm gonna find what we're looking for.
Wow.
Okay. And then if I'm tapping into all clairs and I can't, then I end session.
You do?
Yeah.
How often does that happen?
Not often, but it has happened, and it'll continue happening.
Wow. I can't imagine what that experience is like. Like, are you, after something like that, are you mad? Are you disappointed? Or does it not really bother you?
It just is what it is. Like, I'm not going to be everyone's reader.
Right. Okay.
And not everyone's open to being read.
I know. So if you get people that, let's say a loved one forced them to go to you, or they're just, what are those sessions like?
First of all, I hate that, because they feel forced, so they're not open. Sometimes it works. It really does. I really like when people find me on their own.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you would say most of your clientele is word of mouth, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. Whenever I have a hot girl from upstate in New York come and see me, I'm like, I know exactly who sent you. I know exactly what group of friends you're from.
A hot girl from upstate New York who probably journals.
Journals.
Oh my God, that is really funny. Okay. When you were like 26 years old and you were really starting to dive into this, were you scared?
Oh, fuck yeah. Oh my God. Oh my God. Yes.
Wow.
It's
I actually was
terrifying.
expecting you to say no because it was like, it felt maybe natural to you.
Nothing about that felt natural.
So
it was terrifying.
There was no sense of relief of like, wow, everything makes sense from being a little kid to not wanting to be in the dark to feeling a little bit different.
Yeah, no, that wasn't until I met Ed. Once I started to train it, expand it, hone in on it, but to start the onset of it, absolutely not. It was terrifying.
Wow.
Yeah, and I felt crazy. Crazy.
How?
I thought I was like schizophrenic or something.
Did you ever like go to the doctor, or you were just dealing with this internally?
I was just dealing with it.
Yeah. Jeez. Okay. So, do people who do not believe in your work bother you?
No.
Because it bothers me. It bothers me because it's like, to me, if there's even a 1% chance that you could walk out of it with a beautiful experience, why not try it? Because then if it doesn't happen, just never do it again.
Right. No, I agree with you. I'm kind of, in that same energy where it's like, I'm not, but let's say I'm fake. Let's say this is all bullshit.
Right.
You feel better. You feel heard. You feel seen. You feel validated. I'm really good at doing those things for people.
Yeah.
That in itself is worth it.
Exactly. It's like people that believe in therapy, because I do that as well. Like, I go to therapy every week. So it's like, this is just another form of therapy for me. I just get so much more out of a session with you. Like, I feel like one session with you is probably equivalent to like 10 therapy sessions. Is personally how I feel. What does bother you? The people that not pretend to be spiritualist, but maybe don't practice it.
Yeah. People who claim to be psychic, medium, like whatever they're claiming to be without putting in the work, that really bothers me, as it does any craft worker.
Yeah, of course.
Anyone, who's done mentorship, education, like has really committed their life and everything that they do to this craft, and then somebody pops up and is like, I'm this. Irritates me. And like, I'm not in any position to say you are or you're not, but why I have such a problem with it is when spiritual ego is sometimes worse than the human ego. And when you're moving in this industry with spiritual ego, you're going to hurt people. Whether you take advantage of them, whether you actually, touch people, like somebody's going to get hurt. And my work is so sacred to me, and people who come to see me knowing that they have put so much trust in me, in my work, to keep them safe, it just kills me that other people don't honor the same kind of sacrality. Yeah.
So for me, in my mortgage world, every year I have to do continuing ed, and I sit there on the computer and I click through a screen. How are you continuing your education? Like, how can you excel, or I don't know, is there a next step? Can your I don't even know how to ask, like, do your visions, anything get stronger? Like, can you get better at what you do?
Totally. Where I'm reading at now is very different than what my reads were 7 years ago. To me. Well, it's just growth, it's a practice. Our third eye is a muscle in the same way our arms are. You're going to the gym, you're lifting 5-pound weights. Eventually, you got to go up to like 10-pound weights. Okay. So I strengthen my third eye muscle every day. So by default, my work's going to get better. Spirit won't ever let me get too comfortable. So as soon as I get comfortable in my current craft, they switch it up on me.
And how do they switch it up?
I'm not able to perceive in the same way I was before. I think part of the reason why I'm good at what I do now is because when it all started, even though it was terrifying, I had such a hunger for knowledge, hunger of the understanding, and that hunger has yet to be satiated. I'm still very hungry for the knowledge and the understanding of everything occult, everything spiritual. I know that you had asked, like, what do you call yourself? I think if this was 400 years ago, I would simply call myself a philosopher. Spiritual philosopher. Okay. At that.
And how would you get better, like, quote unquote better? Let's say 5 years from now we have a session today. Is it just like the messages that are coming through are more accurate, more clear? Like, what are some tangible things that would make it better?
So, you just get really good at what you do. There's no...
But you're already, I guess you're so good at what you do. Like, I sit down, you're welcome. But, like, if I sit down with you, you already can, like, tell me everything, tell me my energy, this person's energy, connect with this person who's passed. You can already do all of that.
I got you. Okay, so the clearer, the better will come from how I'm communicating to spirit and understanding what spirit is sharing with me in that moment.
Because are there sometimes right now you don't understand what spirit is sharing? Oh, okay.
Yes. Sometimes I'm like, and then I have to, because I'm not going to know everything, right? It's like...
Well, I know, I think you know everything.
I'm not, right? There's human error in all things, and I'm no different. There's going to be human error in my own work, and sometimes I share what I'm seeing, and the person's like, I don't know, and I'm like, well, fuck, if you don't know, I don't know. Okay. So absolutely.
So then I can get to a point where you're like, oh, no, I know this.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've seen this before because I do the same thing. Like, you know, we had talked about how I know if somebody's going through a breakup, it's because I've seen it so many times.
Right. Mm-hmm. So, like, the very first time you ever got that feeling, did you just have some intuition that it was a breakup, or you asked? How did you start to pinpoint that with breakup?
It comes through intuition. I can just tell when somebody's got their heart broken. I can just tell.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I feel bad for all the things I've probably made you feel.
Everyone says that. I mean, it's like, I'm so sorry you have to feel this. I'm like, this is literally what I do. Wow. This is what you know, you're here for.
Are you religious?
No.
Okay.
But yes. But no. But yeah.
What do you mean?
I love religion. I fucking love religion. I love learning about it. If you want to understand people, understand their religion, understand the way they see God, right? But no, I'm not a religion. I tell people I'm all of them, but I'm none of them. I feel like by picking one religion, and this is just, I'm speaking for myself.
Yourself always, yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
By choosing one religion, you are limiting the way you see God, and God is in all religion, God is in all things. So I like to have a more openness of how I see God.
Do you ever get people that think what you do is demonic?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
What do you have to say to people that feel that way?
I LOL. It's so funny. I get the most wild emails,
Really?
The most wild DMs, like, you know, people quoting Bible verses of just like, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I had like, I'm going to share it because I just got it. This really funny fucking email from Denise. Denise sent me this long ass email, straight judging, like just laid into me. And then her email signature was, like, I don't make judgments though, just recommendations. And I was like,
okay, Denise. I think
and it's so funny. It was so funny. So now I'm like, in my life, if I say anything really judgmental, I'm gonna end it with like, but I only make recommendations.
Wow.
No judgments here, just recommendations.
Like, get off the internet. I hate internet trolls. What are you doing?
She thinks she's a waste of time. I know, but she thinks she's serving her God. Like, she thinks she's doing her holy work, which is like...
Yeah, I guess I'm judging her, but I mean, come on now.
Just making recommendations.
Yeah.
They used to scare me. Like, genuinely, they used to scare me just because, like, I only know this because it's been DM'd to me so many times, but in the Old Testament, there's this verse where it's like, God. if you're gay, you get to go to hell, whatever. If you speak to the dead, anyone that practiced divination, like, you are to be killed on sight. And so getting that DM used to, like, really scare me. But now I'm just like, whatever.
Okay.
Pull up.
Pull up, Denise. Okay, because you're not scared of death.
No.
We need to talk about death.
Okay.
Because
it's my favorite subject.
Okay, most people are scared of death.
Death and love.
Death and love
are my favorite subjects.
Favorite subjects. So, why are you not afraid of death?
Love this question. I'm going the easiest way, like, it is such a beautiful experience. I have felt death through my work, like people passing, people showing me what their transition was like. It is the most trippiest psychedelic experience we will ever have. Anyone who you sit with ayahuasca, you do DMT journeys, you are only getting a taste of what death will be like. It feels so, like, we don't have human words to describe how beautiful dying is.
Well, they say, because when you die, your brain releases all that DMT. How long does that experience last of that trip? Or is it forever? Do you have any idea?
As far as dying?
Yeah, like when you die and you're transitioning, that like trippy, all of that.
Yeah, it depends. It depends. Some people it's very quick. Some people, start to transition slowly. We see them usually like those that go into that comatose state, like they're high as fuck.
Wow.
Yeah. So it really depends. Death is our one opportunity to just truly focus on ourselves, allow ourselves to have the experience that's meant for us, and it just depends. It's so dependent, but it's one hell of a trip.
Okay.
It's one hell of a trip. Like, imagine, like, yeah, I'm going to try to find the words, but everything is just going to fall short of what it is. It's like just joy and freedom and like full of just love, and it's yeah.
Wow. And are the ways people die, or is the experience of death different depending on the way people die, or do you believe that everybody has that same experience when they die?
I think there are similarities. We can definitely see that people recalling near-death experiences or people that have died and come back. There are definitely similarities, but no, not all deaths are the same.
Okay, can you break them out for me?
Sure. We'll start with people who kill themselves, like suicide. It makes me so sad that we have gotten to this place of thinking that people who kill themselves go to hell or they suffer. It's not true. Like, if I connect to somebody and they felt like an immediate sense of relief and joy, I know that they killed themselves.
Wow.
Yeah. Immediately, like immediate. It's like everything heavy is finally just off of them and they feel just so transcendent. Wow. I know that they've taken their own life. Okay. Yeah, because they're in such a state of suffering that nothing gets worse than this for them.
Right. Okay, what are some other ones?
If their transition feels very slowly, or it feels very slow, if their transition feels slow, if they had a lot of fear, I know that they were religious.
Oh.
So that happens. People start really having like lucid experiences. They really, what we see in dying is that we're becoming psychic. It's our human senses are slowly lowering and our psychic senses are picking up. So we see it with people who, they start saying that, as they're dying, their grandmother who's already passed is starting to visit them, or if they've seen people who passed, they're just becoming very, very psychic. They are preparing for a trip. Wow. Okay. The trip of a lifetime.
The trip of a lifetime. Well, because then you'll make jokes or comments like, oh, I can't wait to die.
Literally.
And
I mean it.
I know. I and no judgment or recommendations, like true no judgment. If you can't wait to die,
sure.
Do you know when you're going to die?
No.
Why? Is it because you can't read yourself? Is this part of like what we were talking about earlier?
It probably is that. I think it's not something that I can't say that it's not something I think about because I'll be thinking about it. Yeah, I don't know. And plus, like, sometimes when people are, there's other ways of figuring things out. So let's say somebody comes to me and they're like, oh, I'm so afraid of dying. I think, people will be like, I think I'm going to die early. I'm so afraid. I can't see their death unless they're actively about to transition. So I start looking for other things. I start to see if I can see them with grandchildren. I start to see if I can see them, like, what their retirement path looks like. So I can see those things for myself.
Okay, so you think you're going to live a long life?
Unfortunately. Yeah.
Okay.
Unfortunately. Yeah.
Why is that unfortunate?
Do you like it here? Is this fun? Are you having a good time? They hurt puppies here.
I know.
You know that.
Say that.
They hurt puppies,
right,
and there are children walking around wondering why they're not good enough to feel loved. Like, this is an awful place. And sometimes because I am so sensitive, I don't get to decide what I feel completely. I feel all of it deeply within me. So sometimes this place just feels like very debilitating for me. Like, being a human can sometimes feel like a debilitating experience.
Yeah. Wow.
Hate it here.
hate it here.
Hate it here.
You're going to make me hate it here.
But, well, I love that you don't. I love that you don't, you know? I love that you don't.
I don't know that it's a do or don't. I think if all my loved ones and friends died, then I wouldn't care to die.
Sure. Oh, for sure.
You know, it's like
yeah.
I'm scared to like leave the people.
A lot of people feel that way.
And that actually also puts into perspective of what's actually really important here.
And so, and that goes into, you know, people will ask me, do I think everyone has purpose here? Yes.
You
Absolutely.
do.
We're all here. We're all meant to be here. We all have purpose here. So even though it fucking sucks, right? The human experience is flawed in nature. It's supposed to be. Like, this is supposed to be a hard experience. But we're meant to make the best of it. We're meant to feel all parts of being human, all the ugly, all the beautiful. We have to, you know, spirit is so beautiful. Spirit is so full of love that it gets boring. And that's why we choose to come back. We want to feel the lows. We want to feel what it feels like to be human. It is how we ascend.
Do you think you come back as a human multiple times?
As opposed to like a shark?
Sure.
Or like...
Sure.
There are theories that we don't... Buddhists believe that we come back, like we start from like bugs and we go all the way up to humans. That's why they don't kill bugs. They're like, oh, this person. I personally have not felt anyone who felt like an animal or anything like that. But just because I have not felt it doesn't mean that it's not a thing.
Okay.
I have the understanding that yes, we come back as people, but that's just where my understanding is at right now.
But you're also able to connect to animals.
Yeah, well, if anything has energy, I can connect to plants, animals.
Oh, you can. Do you connect to plants often?
Yeah, I know, because I kill them. I'm not good at plants, so I'm just like, I try. I'm like, what do you need? And they're like, another home. Give me away. I'm dying.
Can't you just ask it what it needs and listen to it?
I don't know why.
It's not whispering to you like, Katelyn, I need water.
Yeah, it does, and I'm just like,
you just ignore it.
I ignore it, and I'm like, I'm busy. Me too. We both need water.
Oh my god, that's great. Okay, so when you're going about your day, like your day to day, like coming over here today, are you constantly tapping into people's energies?
No, fuck no.
Okay.
It exhausts me.
Right. I would imagine.
Me.
So when you have multiple clients back to back, you're tapping in, you have a session with me, then I leave, you have a session with someone else. How are you disconnecting in between each person? When you leave, are you exhausted?
So I'm in the channel. So I can, you know, you're not coming to see Katelyn the human. You're coming to see Katelyn who can push herself into the channel quickly.
Which, I want to pause it for a second. One time recently I came to you, which, side note for the listener, like, we're friendly outside of me just coming to you.
I know, we became friends.
We're homegirls, we became friends. And I remember it was like 2 sessions ago and you were like, say your name. I don't know if you maybe you don't remember that. And I said Brittany, and I was like, wait, what? Like, you know my name.
You know my name. You know who I am.
Like, why did I have to say that? Is it because you weren't human Katelyn?
Correct. I'm pushing myself into the channel.
So when you're pushing yourself into the channel, you like don't, does your relationship with me change? Like,
no,
do you not know who I am?
I have to separate.
Okay.
If you're coming to me for a session, I have to separate.
Okay. But like sitting there with me, are you still able to like, you still know all the personal information about me?
Correct.
See, I guess that's like the confusing part, you know?
Confusing. Help me understand.
Okay, confusing in the sense that, I don't know, it's just like, okay, there's these 2 separate versions of you. I have human Katelyn and I have non-human Katelyn.
I love it.
And human Katelyn knows all of this personal information about me. When you're reading me, is non-human Katelyn taking into consideration that personal information?
No.
Are you biased?
No, I can't be. I have to forget about all that human stuff. Now, of course, I'm human, so, you know, I'm still gonna be like, well, she had said this. Now this feels kind of different. But it has to be an unbiased read. If I feel like I cannot give you an unbiased read, I have to tell you.
Okay.
I have to tell you. I have to honor my craft.
Okay. Understood. So, you told me that you can tell when Ed is checking in on you.
Yes.
What do you feel?
When I feel somebody in my energy, I can just feel like it just doesn't feel like mine. I know what my energy within my vessel feels like. So when it's somebody else's, I know. He always checks in on my heart because he loves me. I know.
That's sweet.
He's always first in my heart. It's really the only thing he checks in on. So I can feel, it feels like sparklers in my heart space.
Okay. And you know it's Ed.
I don't think I know anyone who else could do that.
Oh,
so
duh.
if somebody's sparkling in my heart, I'm like, okay, this is Ed.
Okay. Now let's say one of my friends is in a session with you and I get brought up. And I'm just sitting here at home doing podcast things by myself. And you're reading my energy. Will I feel anything necessarily or no?
You could if you have that sensitivity of knowing. Absolutely.
What could it be? Because someone who may not think about it that way, like maybe if I get like a wave of anxiety or like what are some symptoms of that?
You'll feel a shift in your own energy. It could feel like anxiety, or you just, I don't know. When you just randomly think of somebody.
Yeah.
That's them, we say that's them thinking of you. That's them pushing themselves into your energy. So you could just be like doing your dishes and be like, Katelyn?
Yeah. Okay. All right. Interesting. When you go into your, I need to find a different way to say this. When you go into, when you push yourself into that energy, is that what you're saying? Okay. When you push yourself into that energy.
When I go into the channel.
When you go into the channel. Thank you. When you go into the channel, are you now able to connect to the people that have died no matter what, or do you have to do something different to connect to people that have passed?
I have to shift my energy of perception.
So you're that's separate from just reading energy.
So when I read psychically, we'll talk through it. Okay.
Yeah.
When I read psychically, I'm pushing the energy from the front of my body because I'm like grabbing yours.
Okay.
To pull into me.
Okay.
Okay. When I read through the mediumship channel, I'm opening up my back so they can come into me.
Okay. What about when you're in a session and you do both at the same time?
I'm switching between the gears. So yeah, it's a lot.
How did you learn to do, like, did Ed teach you how to do that?
I think I'm naturally gifted.
Yeah.
So I think I just already knew, but absolutely.
Because obviously for us common people,
No.
That's the hard part to understand. Like, how are you shifting your energy back and forth? Like, is it a thought? Is it a vision? Are you saying something in your...
I'm saying their name. I'm just shifting. I'm saying the names are like a quick like gear shift for me.
Okay.
That's why I asked for
them.
them.
Names help you.
I don't need the names, but again, like it's just a quick shift.
Okay.
Yeah. It's just the realm of perception.
Are you seeing images of the, like, if a person died, are you seeing an image of that person or just feeling their energy?
Sometimes when doing those that have passed, it's really how they want to be perceived. And this is what I share in regular sessions, like first and foremost, I am a medium. That is what I am. That's why I'm able to do what I'm able to do.
Yeah.
I'm a medium, and in being a medium, I honor the deceased. I honor spirit. I honor those that have transitioned. How they want to communicate with me is how they want to communicate. I do not force them. If they want to show me a quick glimpse of them, okay, good. Or through feelings, through words, through all kinds of things. It is up to them. I allow them to navigate.
And is it true, like, let's say someone passed when they were 70 years old. Is it true that they can show themselves to you as a 15-year-old?
Yeah.
Okay, and what does that mean?
So many answers to that. And how do we ever really know, right?
Right.
Usually, if somebody is showing me at a younger age, it's because they had to go back to that age for healing. Because we transition into spirit for that total and complete soul healing. So if they've shown me at a younger age, I'm like, okay, some shit happened to them a little younger, and that's where they're healing. If they, like, let's say that they lost their dad early in life, and sometimes they'll go back to the age they lost their dad at so they can have that experience of growing up with their father, if that's what their soul needs. Sometimes they'll show me at a different age where they just feel their best. They were like, I was fucking killing it at 40, so here I am at 40.
Okay. Okay, great. What's the most beautiful connection or session you've had? most recently that you can think of?
Most recently, oh my gosh. So I'm going to think as hard as I can. I don't remember readings.
You know I'm going to ask you to explain. Do you forget immediately?
Yeah, usually. Because I am in the channel. What I mean by being in the channel, like I can push myself into a meditative state very quickly. So in doing that, I kind of forget. Now, I also know that I have to forget. In order for me to do like back-to-back sessions, I gotta forget. And sometimes I have to forget just as a form of self-preservation.
Right. I mean, yeah, I would think so.
Yeah, absolutely. So I don't remember readings, and it adds to the confidentiality.
Yeah.
And it adds to the sacredness of the work. So like every time you come to me, it's going to be, you know, I'm starting, after a while, you see me so many times, like of course I'll start to remember.
Yeah.
But once I'm in the channel, once I'm back in your energy, I'll start remembering some things. But it is hard for me to remember reading. So I'm thinking like the most beautiful, like one that I was like, wow, magic's real.
Yeah.
Oh, let me think.
Yeah, take your time.
I might need a second.
Yeah, take a second. Also, too, if you can't specifically remember, is there something that maybe what's like a story you have about predicting something, maybe even for a friend?
Well, I think like for me, like really beautiful moments in sessions, like where I'm like, oh, hell yeah, magic is real, is when I've helped somebody step into their intuition. And I've had clients who have become students who have then started their own spiritual businesses, started their own spiritual work. That's when I'm like, fuck yeah.
Nice.
Because that's the goal for me. I know it's not necessarily great for business, but like my goal is for you to not need me.
Yeah.
Totally. Like if I've read for you in a way that you feel like you are constantly in need of me, then I have failed you.
Oh, I don't feel that way. I don't want you to ever stop reading me.
No, I know, but
I know what you mean. It's like when you graduate from therapy.
Yeah, you're like, okay, I know how to trust myself.
Yeah.
I know what this is. More than anything, you know your own patterns. Like helping people see their own patterns, helping people really understand why they are in this pattern, why their own matrix is serving in their self-sabotage or whatever. Like once they come out of that, I'm like, oh
I agree.
God.
And that the root of that, I think, is like learning your shadow, right? Doing all the shadow work.
1,000 trillion.
Let's give a quick couple sentences on what shadow is.
How you're fucked up.
Okay.
Easily.
Thank you.
How you're fucked up. How you feel like you got to be on your defense. How you feel like you can't trust anyone, not let anyone close to you. How you're fucked up.
There's so much you can do for shadow work, but that's really where you can help people too.
Yes, I'm really good at shadow.
Yes.
I'm really good at shadow.
You are. Is there anything you've like predicted, maybe even fun or anything recently for like a friend that's come true that's like shocked somebody? Do you ever have stories like that?
Oh, totally. I try not to listen to the hype though. When someone's like, oh my God, and what you said came true, you know, I'm like, I hope it's good. I'm like, fuck.
Yeah.
I try not to listen to the hype, because if I listen to the hype, then I gotta listen to the criticism, and I don't want to listen to the criticism.
I'm like you, I don't want to listen to the criticism either.
Yeah, I don't want to listen to the criticism, so by default, I'm like, can't buy into your own hype.
Okay.
You know, but I think of this one woman who, sometimes, like, when people were like, yeah, you said this, and I'm like, oh, that's wild. I can't believe I said, I must have really felt that for me to say something so wild. But she was like, you know, she was in probably with some shit dude, and I was like, yeah, I actually see you like with a woman, like once you're done with this man, like you're going to find love in a woman. And she was like, nah. And then she came in and she was like, and this is my girlfriend. I was like, fuck yeah.
Told you.
I was like, good for you, girl.
Oh, I love. How long after that reading?
A year.
A year?
So that's prediction work. Like it takes as long as it takes. Sometimes like I'm not right in that moment, but in time, people are like, oh, that's what she meant.
Yeah, you've told me that before, because I'll ask you timeline questions, and you're like, I can't give you a time.
There's no time, and like I love that. That is such a human question, and I love human questions. I love when people are like, how soon? And I'm like, Spirit doesn't. I'm like, how many years, Spirit? And Spirit's like, what are years? You know, what are weeks? What are days? We don't know. Like spirit does not have human time. Only we do. Spirit understands change of energy. So that's when I'm like, how long is it going to take you to change this energy? How long is it going to take you to get out of this pattern to where you're attracting differently? That's how long it takes.
So when someone says, am I going to get married? And you say yes, and they say how long? It's like, well, once this energy's over, you'll get married. I have no idea how long it's going to take you to get over this.
So I've predicted partners for people. I'm like, this is what they look like. And that's come true. But a lot of people have that expectation. And what they fail to see is like, they're not ready for that yet. I'm like, I know you're getting married, but we got some work to do, because the men that you're attracting right now they are not your husband. So this is where I tell people, like, this is what your spiritual to-do list looks for me. Like, these are what we need to come to understand, come to eradicate within your energy, and I'll put you in alignment. I don't use the word soulmate. I don't. In terms of romantic relationships, we say divine partner. Yeah. So I want people to get in alignment for their divine partner.
Okay. And you believe in a divine partner?
Totally.
Okay. All right. So dreams. Okay. Do you dream often, and do all your dreams mean something to you?
I do dream often. I have a Pisces moon, so I'm dreaming all the time. I love my dreams. I rely on my dreams to a degree. I know when I'm dreaming subconsciously versus prophetic dreaming. Okay. How do you know the difference? Subconscious dreaming is usually like gritty. Like, it has a different type of energy. It's usually like you're processing human emotion. You're like upset. You're like cringed out. You're anxious. That's subconscious that is subconscious dreaming. Prophetic dreaming has a tingling sensation for me. I have conscious mind in it. I'm aware of it, and I'm usually being spoken to by someone not in the dream. Got it. One time after college, I wanted to learn how to lucid dream. Hell yeah. And for like a week, I did all the things that the internet told me to do. Love it. And I was able to control my dream. See, and that's so funny to me, because you're always like, oh, I wish I could feel. Oh, I wish I could do these things. And then you like drop these like bombs, and I'm like, what are you talking about? You can. Like, I tell you I want to be a witch. Yeah, no, you are. I know. I just believe, I do think I have very strong intuition. Literally. And I think everyone has our mind is so powerful, and I believe that. So I know that if I really put my mind to something, like if I want to learn to lucid dream, I can do it. And then, no, you're good. And then like when it happens, it's just so validating and cool, and then it just makes me even more excited about it. I think for a lot of people, a lot of women, they are strongly intuitive. That is what it means to be in your feminine energy. Yeah. But we don't know it. So that's where we see that constant back and forth within ourselves. Yeah. Totally. Absolutely. You are a witch, though. Thank you. Do you know that for sure? This is where I'm like, don't say things, because I'm like, are you being a psychic and you know, or you just like, as my friend, you think I'm a witch? No, I know that you are. You wouldn't work with me. You wouldn't be like, we would not do the things spiritually that we do together, have the conversations we have, if you weren't. You wouldn't have just that innate understanding of what I'm talking about if you weren't. And once a witch, always a witch. Once a witch, always a witch. If you've been a witch in a past life, you will always come back as a witch. Always. I don't like that witches have a negative connotation with it. Me neither. That's why I use it, to reclaim it. Okay. Yeah, to reclaim it as it's a, my Instagram stay witchy. It's a call to action. It's a call to reclaim your power, to take back that word witch, to take back your femininity, especially in a male-driven society, in a male-driven world, because there was once a time where women were truly honored. Like the Mayans, there's 28 steps to their holy space to where they sacrifice for the gods, and it's to honor the cycle of a woman. How it should be. How it should be. How it should be. How it should be. Women are the ones bringing life to this world. Women's are portals from the spiritual world to the physical world. Absolutely. We are conduits within ourselves. Abso-fucking-lutely. Yes. Yes. Love it. Yes. Okay, so how granular can you get with being psychic? Like right now, if I say,
Do you know the next question I'm going to ask?
I love that.
Are you able to tell me the next question I'm going to ask?
No, it's not mind reading.
Okay. Okay. It's not mind reading.
Yeah.
It's energy reading.
Because everyone's like, oh, you're psychic? What am I thinking?
Yeah.
And I'm like, you're thinking you don't believe in me.
Right. You're probably right.
Fuck you. Like, shut up.
Fuck you, Denise.
Fuck you, Denise. Fucking hater.
Literally. Okay. So let's talk about tarot.
Oh, my favorite.
Yes. So death is your favorite. Tarot is your favorite.
Yeah.
Okay. So tarot. I love when you do tarot readings. When did you get into tarot? Explain the tarot deck. Just tell us all about tarot.
Tarot. Okay, so there's two types of decks in tarot. You have oracle cards and you have traditional cards. Oracle cards are very warm and fuzzy. Like, they make you feel good. Traditional tarot is going to read you for fucking filth.
Okay.
Traditional tarot is very structured. They have their meanings. It is a practice. It is a dedicated divination. Now, I say divination. Divination just means calculator. Like, we can add in our heads or we can use the calculator. I'm really good at adding in my head.
Okay.
But I also know how to use the calculator. So everyone can use the calculator.
Okay, so the deck is the calculator.
The deck is the calculator. Tarot is a divination. All divinations are forms of the calculators.
Oh, that helps a little bit, because if my friend were to give me a tarot reading, I'll be completely honest, I'd be like, yeah, okay, bye. If you give me a tarot reading,
No, bye.
I'd believe in it. So because I guess I don't understand how, like, anyone can read tarot.
Anyone can use a calculator. Anyone can use a calculator.
But there's when you're shuffling, if a card drops, you're like, that has a meaning. What's on the bottom of a deck has a meaning.
This is what I do. I've dedicated my life. I've dedicated myself to really understanding tarot. I love tarot. It so beautifully shows and symbolizes where a person is at in their journey. And we have an hour session, but like, we'll touch on so much.
Yeah.
So I use tarot at the end just to have everything come full circle.
Okay.
But yeah, some people use a calculator better.
Okay.
I'm really good at tarot. I am really bad at spirit boards / Ouija boards.
Oh.
I'm not good at the divination of Ouija.
Oh, so that is it almost just, sorry if I'm wrong, is it almost just like another modality?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. It's another form of divination. You have like graphing calculators, and then you have like the calculator on your phone.
Okay, wait, I like that you said Ouija board, because I think people can relate to that. So you have a Ouija board, you have a tarot deck. Are there other?
Pendulums. You have pendulums. You have scrying mirrors.
Okay.
Okay, you have ruins. You have, tea leaves. There are many forms of divination.
Okay. All right, and then I want to talk about Psyche and the John of God bed, because this is what I personally have just done this week with you. We did 3 sessions. So you said Psyche is really a combination of EMDR and Reiki, almost. Like if EMDR and Reiki had a baby.
It's Psyche. They named her Psyche.
They named her Psyche. So EMDR, eye movement desensitization and reprocessing.
Yes.
Is a type of therapy. It became really popular for people with PTSD, a lot of trauma. I do EMDR work separately. I've done EMDR work now for years. You do EMDR work on your own too. So explain, I guess, I'm not super familiar with Reiki. So maybe quickly explain Reiki and then talk about why Psyche is so powerful.
Reiki is just the amplification of energy centers of the chakra base. We'll see that with the light bed too.
Okay.
Reiki does really what the light bed does, but I say that Psyche is the love child of EMDR and Reiki because we are moving energy.
Okay.
And that's not to say we don't move energy with EMDR, but like when somebody is in that full brain posture, I can see their aura shifting. I can see their energy changing.
Okay. Now, from these past 3 sessions we've done this week of Psyche, you of course were there with me, but now that I know the process, is this something like I can do on my own at home, or do you need a facilitator?
You need a facilitator.
Why do you need a facilitator?
Because I guess you could do it on your own, but you want somebody in there watching you. When we do the balances, I'm checking that you're resisting me. It's just, you need 2 scientists.
That's true.
You know?
Because I guess it's way more simple than I was expecting.
So simple.
It seems so simple. I'm like, I can sit here and go through the steps. The steps are not hard.
Yeah.
But I guess you're right with the muscle testing. You do need someone to resist through.
And plus, you don't know what's going to come up. It's like the same way people sit with medicine like ayahuasca. Like, you have a watcher. You know, you do a mushroom trip, you have a watcher.
Yeah.
It's the same.
Very true. That's
we
a
don't
good
know what's
comparison.
like. What if you just like lost your shit?
Yeah.
You know?
Okay. Have you done ayahuasca?
Mm-mm.
Do you want to do ayahuasca?
I'd be open to it. You know, ayahuasca is one of those things. I know people search it and they're like, I'm gonna fucking do it. I trust that when it's time, it will present itself to me. When sitting with plant medicine, this is meditation. Plant medicine takes you to the same place. Meditation takes you as you become ready. Plant medicine takes you even if you're not ready. That's where people get the concept of bad trips from, because they weren't ready to see what spirit showed them. Meditation is as you become ready. If you have a bad trip, you're never going to do anything again. There's no integration. So I always tell people, just start meditating. You know, clear the shit you can clear first. Do the shadow work you're already aware of. So when you do sit with ayahuasca or any type of plant medicine, you're going to have, you're more likely to see God than seeing, you know, your own
shadow,
selfish ways.
Yeah. Oh wow, I love how you worded that. That like resonated with me. Okay, so that's the site, and the Psyche is really us going through things I want to balance.
Yeah.
I'm rewriting my subconscious beliefs, correct?
Updating it, yes.
Updating it.
Yep.
So let's say I'll give one that we did. I think we did six-ish. One of them was I am worthy of love.
Love it. Yeah.
Okay. So we did a quick muscle test. I basically put my arm out.
Yeah, we did it.
You were resisting.
Yeah.
And at first, like, my arm would drop. And then once we what'd you say? Update. Once we updated it into my subconscious, my arm wouldn't drop anymore.
Correct. We were hitting that yes response. Correct.
Gotcha. So if anyone's ever heard of the sway test, because the sway test, I literally tried to make all of my friends and anyone who would listen to me talk do it for anything.
I love it.
It's just, you know, these are things you can look up on your own, but really it's about your body. If you believe, like, okay, when you're standing the sway test, if you believe it, your body will sway forward.
Swaying is a form of divination. You're using your body as a pendulum.
That's a pendulum. Wow.
See,
it makes sense.
I told you, you're a witch.
Oh my god,
you just don't know.
Okay, yeah, it makes sense. And then if you don't believe it, you'll sway backwards.
Correct.
Same thing. So like with my arm, when I do believe it, it didn't move. When I didn't believe it, my arm dropped.
Correct.
We crossed my ankles, we crossed my wrists. Like there's other things we did with it. So that was the Psyche. The light bed, do you want to talk about that?
So the light bed is the John of God light bed. John of God, it was this profound Brazilian healer, considered an energy surgeon, could literally heal people of sicknesses, like really profound. Unfortunately, with spiritual ego, he touched people. He really hurt people. So I have an issue saying like the John of God bed. So that's why I just say light bed.
Got it.
So I feel like I have to acknowledge, you know, those that were hurt by him before speaking of his modality. The light bed is just an amplification of your energy centers. It is a form of surgery. That's why we say sometimes energy surgeons will come in to work on you. John of God, he might be dead. I don't know. I'm pretty sure when he did go to jail, I don't know what.
Yeah, he's very controversial. I do know that.
Incredibly controversial. In the spiritual community, it really begs the question, like, the bigger the light, the bigger the shadow. Okay, that's why you gotta do that fucking shadow work.
Yep. So the lights, they're crystals, and they point to each chakra.
And they amplify that energy. They're like, we're essentially opening you up for surgery. Now people will be like, is John of God going to come in and touch me? No, fuck him.
Yeah.
Because we are working with high vibrational energy. So only high vibrational energy will come in to work on you.
Got it. And I did the bed twice.
It really just helps you get into that Zen, meditative, it's just, if like I were to oversimplify it, through using it, you're just going to get to a deep meditative space easier.
Yep. Okay. Okay. So we will wrap up. Oh, I have a question here. Do you, since in like they say, depression is when you're worried about the past, anxiety is when you're worried about the future.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
How do you feel about that? Well, that was actually wasn't my question. But
okay.
My question was going to be: do you deal with anxiety? Since anxiety is about the future, but you can technically predict the future.
Sure.
Do you deal with anxiety?
I want to say that what I've learned spiritually through my sessions is depression is actually your spirit's way of telling you that you need major change in life. And I guess I could say the same thing about anxiety. Anxiety is more so the spiritual energy of you need to ground, you need to come in the present, you got to be in the now. Do I deal with anxiety? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm a very anxious being, actually. But it's not anxiety of the future. I actually have perfection anxiety. Like, am I doing enough? Is this good enough? Am I, like, my fears, you know, people will be like, oh, you know, what's your biggest fear in life? My biggest fear in life is not dying, but when I die, returning to oneness and not feeling like I used my gift to its highest capabilities. So I have a lot of anxiety over that.
Okay. Have you found purpose in your work?
Without a doubt.
This is your purpose.
This is why I've reincarnated into this timeline, into this life to do this work. I'm here to do this work. And I'm very fortunate to have found purpose so early in life, because a lot of people sometimes go their whole life with never finding purpose. And it's not about finding purpose. We're not meant to find purpose. It's more so preparing for purpose. You have to put yourself in that position to be preparing for purpose, because once you are adequately prepared for your purpose finds you.
Okay, so that should be like my goal in life.
Prepare for purpose. You don't find purpose, you prepare for it.
Okay. If somebody listened to this whole episode, because we're wrapping up, and they're like, oh my God, I need to go see Katelyn right now, but they don't really know where to start. You know, we've talked about Psyche, we've talked about the bed, tarot. What's like a good little intro into getting tapped into their spiritual side?
30-minute session.
30-minute session.
Just come and see me for 30 minutes.
30-minute session.
And we'll kind of see.
So with that being said, if you've listened this far or watched this far, thank you. There's going to be a code on your website.
Home with Friends, 10% off on staywitchy.love.
Staywitchy.love. I didn't realize it was love. Cute. Okay. Staywitchy.love is where they can book a session with you. Code Home with Friends gets 10% off.
Yeah.
Amazing. Okay, I wrap with a fun question, because I do every time.
I'm excited.
Fun question is, if you knew every single person in the world, you had their attention right now, and they were listening to you, ears wide open.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
What would you want to say?
You're already spiritual.
Wow, that came quick for you.
Yeah. And I feel emotional about it, so I know that it came from spirit, but you are already spiritual. Yeah, which is beautiful because...
Oh my God, you are getting emotional.
Yeah, so I know that it came from spirit. Yeah, you are already spiritual. How beautiful. But
How beautiful.
But like, I get what spirit means, because it's not like, you don't have to go to like, you don't have to do these big ass spiritual trips like to be a spiritual being. Like, we already are spiritual beings. We come from spirit. It is who we already are, and it's about finding spirit in the daily. It's about finding your spiritual ritual. I love ritual, but it's finding your spiritualness in your daily human life, because we already are spiritual.
Yeah.
That's so beautiful. I know.
What a beautiful answer. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I love you.
My pleasure. This was fun.
Yay, we're done. That was fun. We'll have you.